I'm at the end of this quilt. I have this two repeats in this side and in the right side, and then the bottom border to put in. I'll be finished, and I'll be putting in this bottom border and these two side borders and connecting all of that up. Now I need to place the bottom border on the screen, and I will just measure across here. I'm going to do Alt M, and I'm going to do a measurement. Turn off the end snap. I'm just going to measure from this point to that side. I could do it with a machine, but I don't need to. It's 48.34. So I'm going to just call it 48, and I'll select this border pattern, and I'm going to put that on the screen and let it finish quilting. So go to repeat patterns. My total width is going to be 48. And I'll just click OK to put that in there. I'm going to select all of it, move it into place. There's one thing I need to do with this. I need to flip it vertically, because see, the start and end is down at the bottom here. But if I look at the top, see, the start and end of this pattern is along this border seam right there. So I'm going to flip this vertically. As you work with this, you're going to figure out that there are many ways of accomplishing the same idea. Move this over a little bit. Now you notice this is a little crooked. So I'm going to go get my end anchors. And I have the end snaps turned off, so I can just grab this and move it down and into the boundary like this. Now, this quilt is a little longer on one side, and I was not going to try and work that in as I went, so I just left it alone like it is. Go get my side anchors and decrease the height of this just a little bit, and also this way. And that's pretty good there. Now I will take this and move it into position. I'm going to have to just manipulate it a little bit. I'll go get my anchors. I want the end anchors, and I want end snap on, because I want this to be snapped to that point right there. I'm going to turn off the end snap and move this over. I'm also going to change my anchors. That's what I want right there. I will select that and that. I'm going to move this in, decrease it a little bit, and that's going to look good. Select it again, move it up, and let it connect by getting an anchor. Turn on the end anchor. Let it snap into place. Okay, that looks good. Now I need to toggle these as unsewn, or as unsewn. Now, instead it starts there, goes down, and it'll stitch right across. I'm going to get these two, and I have my side anchors. Move them in place. Now, this I may have to do a little bit of manipulating, and I'm going to take the machine down to the other end of the quilt. I'll place the needle at the end point of the last stitch in this border, and that's at that point right there. I want to make sure that that last pattern that I stitched is in fact in the correct position, and no, it isn't. So I think I'll go back and do a Control Z. I didn't intend to delete that. Hold down the Control key, move this out of the way. I want to make sure that I move all of this, and I'm just going to select quite a few of these repeats down through here. And turn on the end anchor. I'm going to turn off the end snap. Turn off the end and get the end anchor there. And I'm going to move this down to where it's like this. Now I have another little trick that I use. To make sure of what I'm doing is going to be correct. So I check to make sure this is in the correct place there. And it is. So I think that's close enough to where that is. I'll just hold down the Control key to turn off the anchor boxes there. Bring these down. I think I'll place it right there like that. Now I will get these two repeats and bring them into place. Turn on the end anchors. Well, it's not going to let me do that, and the reason why it's not going to let me do that is because I can combine them now. Way to combine these two. Now I can turn on the, I believe I can get the end anchors. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. I'll unsewn. Yeah, I had to do some manipulating of these patterns and get them to where they would work. So you start here in there. I'm going to right click on that one and toggle it as sewn, so you can see that yes, now I have this, it is in the correct order. So I'll toggle that unsewn again. I need to select both of these. I need to move them, and I can now I can get my end anchors. They were not in the correct order. Turn on my end snap. I'll just snap that up there. Take and snap this right to that position right there, and it's going to quilt like it should. And if I want to, I am going to select this one and reverse the start and end. And hopefully I'm doing this correctly. And I'll right click on that one and I'll reverse the start and end. I have to toggle it as unsewn. Okay, now something's not correct here. Okay, I have everything set in the correct order, and I right clicked on this repeat, and I used order join, and when I clicked order join, it set the start point here, next, and then the end point there. So now this will sew continuously, and that's what I'm going to do, is stitch all of this out. Okay, all the side borders and the bottom border is quilted, and all I need to do now is finish the block. And I didn't probably mention this before, but when I did this pattern here in the little thing in the middle here in that cornerstone, and then this one, I used what we refer to as concatenating, which meant that I could select the patterns in the order I wanted them, and like the flower with the two, or the diamond with the two diamonds, hold down the control key, come down and get my flower. And since I selected this pattern first and then this second, that's the order it will put them on the screen when I do this. If I can do that because I undone it. Hold down the control key and get my little flower. So that's the order I selected them. This one first, then the flower, and that's the way it'll put them on the screen, is the diamond, then the flower, diamond, flower, and diamond. So a click, 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 then click, click, and then click this last one and hit stop. The last part here, all I need is to fill in these two sashings, because the bottom border, there's not a horizontal sashing all the way across this like there is in this row and this row and the bottom row here. So one more row. I have my two boundaries drawn, and I'm going to put in this P2P diamond, two repeats in this sashing here and here. I'll quilt these, and I'm going to leave those boundaries in place, and I have a reason for doing that. Click over 5 times to get the repeat. Click the start point, then the end point of it, stop. Okay, click the start point and the end point, stop. Upper right, lower right lets me exit out of that. I will adjust my patterns to fit, and then I'll stitch them. Okay, these two sashing strips are quilted. Now I'm going to work on the blocks. There's 3 blocks left, and I left these boundaries in for a reason, and I will show you why I did that. I have my boundary around the block, and I have the boundary around the applique. I have my background pattern selected, and I will put it in the block. The machine is sitting approximately in the center of the block. Repeat patterns, change my reference point or the pattern location to center, click OK, it puts it on the screen. I will have to adjust it to fit. I can increase it so that it's a little bigger than the boundary itself. I'll pull this out like this. I want this to be down here. Something like that. Okay, I am ready to do a fill, and I'm going to go over and select fill inside icon over here, or I could just click on fill and then, or put my mouse over fill and click on inside. Now it's going to work on this. Okay, it finished, it said. Okay. Wow. It didn't remove this. It didn't work. So I'm going to go back and do a Control Z. See, it didn't do anything over here. It did some of this. I'm going to do a Control Z, undo that. Now the reason that it didn't do that, fill correctly, is because, you remember I left this boundary here, and this, if I zoom in, I have two boundaries that are overlapping or touching. I see people ask questions about this, and that's the reason why it did not work. I'll select this boundary. I will delete it. I'll select that. I'll go do a fill inside using the fill inside icon on the right hand side. And now, okay, I deleted the pattern, not the boundary. Oh, Control Z, come back. Yeah, that's interesting. Control Z again to get my pattern back in there. Select this. Click over here to undo the selection of the pattern. Now I can delete the boundary. See, it's interesting that what can happen to you. You're not paying attention. And I'll just do this again. Hopefully, I've done it all right. There we go. And I'm just going to get out of that and look at it. Here it is. It all looks like it's going to work just fine. Now, here's some places. I'm going to divide this out. See, it would stitch down here and around that, and then down and get this little point up here and around and get a little tiny place right there. I don't want to do that, so I'll have to divide all of that out, get rid of it. Okay, I've divided and got rid of that. That would stitch around and stitch here, because I'm going to stitch around this when I'm finished. To finish this block, I'm going to convert this boundary to a pattern. Convert boundary to a pattern. And it'll be stitchable, and I'm also going to get rid of this boundary that's here. Don't need it. I'll just stitch this, and I'll be finished with this block. And I'll move over to the next one. And I think you've seen what happens when you leave a boundary in place and try to create another boundary and do an inside fill. It doesn't work. I have the entire project finished. This is all the blocks, the sashings, and the outer border. And if I click on this, you can see over here it is 47 by 0.88 by 61.27. That's the finished product.